Hey everyone, Chef Leroy here and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to make some gyro meat with lamb and beef, and I got a little bit different twist to it. Now I've made this recipe recently, so I wanted to revisit it again. I'm going to add just a little bit more seasoning to it. I thought it was really good the first time I did it, but now I got a little bit different twist I'm going to add to it. So let me show you what we got going on. Okay, so we are going to make our own gyro meat, okay? And I'm going to do it with lamb and beef, and I'm going a little bit heavier on the lamb, so I'm doing 2 pounds of lamb, 1 pound of beef. Now this is a 93% lean beef, so 3 pounds of meat. I suggest that you leave it out at room temperature for a little while so it gets nice and softened up, and I'll show you why, because you need to mix it really well. This recipe does not have any egg or any bread in it, okay? You'll need a bowl here to mix it in. And then let me go over the vegetables. So generally this recipe is used just some yellow onion and garlic, okay? Well, I've put a twist to this. I'm gonna use a half of a green bell pepper and half of a red bell pepper. Then I've got half of a yellow onion and I've got 4 cloves of garlic, and they're in my little processor here, food processor. Now, if you are trying to do the meat and you don't want to do it by hand, you can put it into a food processor and pulse it a little bit until it gets nice and tacky. But mine is not big enough, so I'm going to just basically do it all by hand. Now, what you want to do, this is pretty full, so we'll see how this works, but you want to puree your vegetables all the way down until they're smooth. And then I've got a strainer right here, a wire strainer. We're going to go ahead and put everything in there and we're going to let it strain down. And while that's working, we'll go ahead and get our meat in our bowl and we'll add our dry ingredients. Now let me go over the dry ingredients with you. So I put everything, this is a coffee grinder. I actually got this in Japan. This thing is really cool. So it has a cover that goes on it just like this, and the handle to grind herbs. Okay, so let me tell you what's in here. I have on my list, I've got 2 teaspoons of dry oregano. I've got 2 teaspoons of cumin, whole cumin seed. Okay, and that's why I'm using a grinder. So some of these things they ask you for powder. Now I can get cumin powder, but I have seed too. But a rosemary, that's a little bit more difficult to find, like powdered rosemary. So that's why I'm grinding this. If you can find it, you can use it. Okay, so you got 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of marjoram, which is right here. It's a leaf as well, right there. 2 teaspoons of the rosemary. Okay, put that all aside. I've got 2 teaspoons of dry thyme. So it's teaspoons, 2 teaspoons. It's all like 2 teaspoons of everything, okay? Also, we've got ground black pepper. I'm going to use 1.5 teaspoons of this, but we're not putting that in there yet. And then I've got fine Mediterranean sea salt. Again, this will be 2.5 teaspoons. So that's basically the recipe. Then you're going to need a baking loaf pan. You'll need a roasting pan. What I do is I put a couple paper towels in the bottom, and you want to fill up your pan with water, about almost half the way up the side of this. And then we're going to bake it at 350 for about 70 minutes or until it's 165 degrees. So there you go. All right, let's get the blender started here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pulse it a couple times. Puree it all the way down. Okay, open it up and take anything that's larger up the top and put it down. And the reason we're going to strain it is to get a lot of that liquid out of there, so the meat's not too wet. But I like a lot of flavor, so that's why we're doing it. Okay, that should be good. I would say, so this is what takes the recipe a little bit longer, is I probably would let this drain for about half an hour. And with all these recipes I work on, I try to write them so they're easy to follow and they make sense, right? And they're something that is gonna work for you. There you go. So let's go ahead and let that drain. And while that is draining, I'm going to grind my herbs. Now again, like I said, if you can get these different herbs in a ground form, I would do that. Otherwise, you can use a grinder. This is my coffee grinder. So if you have an electric one, it'll be a lot faster. This is a bit of a manual way of doing things, but it's fine. Okay, let's check this vegetables here. What I would recommend you do is take a spoon and move it around, just like that, and kind of force that liquid out of there, and keep grinding. Okay, I got my lamb and beef in my pan here. Here's my vegetable puree that I did. I can show you, there's quite a bit of liquid in there. I have literally about a cup. All right, go ahead and throw your vegetables right in there. So we're gonna go ahead and add our 2.5 teaspoons of salt. Okay, then we need 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper. Like that, a little bit more. And there we go, okay. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put our herbs in the bowl with the meat. All right, as you can see, I'm mixing it with a glove on. If you had a mixer, it would be a lot easier. I do not have a mixer, so it's all by hand. The main thing is you want to mix it, the meat, until it's all the same color. That's one part of it. And you want to mix it until it gets a little bit tacky, right? That's when the fat and the proteins and stuff are kind of working together. Okay. Go ahead and set your loaf pan next to it. Now I've got it sprayed down pretty good with oil. It is a nonstick, but still spray it down good. And the goal here is to pack it really good to get all of the air out of it as much as you can. So the bowl, you should see this kind of look in there. It should be kind of really tacky, sticky. And then you know you got it done right. Okay? Go ahead and pack it down well, like that. Okay, now I'm going to tap it on the counter a couple times. Pan holder with a pot holder underneath it, and tap it down a little bit. Go ahead and wipe off the edges here so it doesn't burn on. It'd be harder to clean later. Put a couple of paper towels on the bottom. The paper towels just keep the pan from sliding around in the other pan with the water, so you don't have any issues. Measuring cup, and then you're going to fill it up with hot water. Okay, here you go. So just fill it up like that. And that's to keep the temperature nice and even all the way around. And go ahead and put it in your oven. Oven is already preheated to 350, and we're going to put it right in the middle of the rack. So I'll show you that in a minute here. Okay. And there we go. And let's go ahead and set the timer. All right, I'm setting the time to 70 minutes or 1 hour and 10 minutes, and I'm cooking this on a convection setting. All right, that's all I got for now, guys. So I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. And again, make sure you cook it to 165 degrees and check it in a couple different spots of the meat to make sure that you've got the accurate temperature on it. All right, we got our loaf out, and it looks nice. Let's temp it out. So that was 70 minutes at 350. There we go. Yep, it's over 165. That's what we need. Beautiful. So one thing you need to do is drain that liquid or the oil out, the fat. I would pour it into a measuring cup or a bowl or something, and then let it, you can even put it in the refrigerator to solidify, and then dump it in your garbage can. Don't pour it in your sink. A bad idea, okay? So that's one big tip I'll give you on that. So let's go ahead and move it out of the water bath here. I'll move it to my pot holder. There we go. So let's go ahead and get a bowl. Be careful because it could flop out on you. So that's one thing you want to be careful of. It's starting to slide, so you want to be careful not to drop it. That would be a bad thing. It smells freaking amazing, not gonna lie. It smells really good. I'm gonna let it cool down. I might try a little bit of it just to see how it tastes. Because this recipe here, I bumped up the herbs a little bit, like I said. So I did go from like a 1.5 teaspoon to a 2 teaspoon recipe on the herbs. So I got some other things that are going along with this meal too, and they'll be included in different videos. So I did I'm doing a saffron rice, and then also a tzatziki sauce with additional Roma tomatoes, cucumber, and red onions. More like almost a salad, but it's super fantastic. I'll show pictures of it, of what it looked like. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. Again, please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed up to this point, you know, that's fine, but subscriptions just let you know when I've thrown a video out there. And otherwise, there you go. Recipe is pretty simple. Hopefully the video is pretty straightforward. You guys have a great night. Chef Leroy, and I am out. All right, guys, here's the Gyro meat. I did try a little bit of it yesterday. It's freaking awesome. So that's what the loaf looks like. And I'm going to slice it. All right, so I let this meat cool down in my refrigerator overnight. I think it's the best result because it gets nice and solid and it slices really nicely. And I'm going to saute it anyway in a pan. So that's kind of my recommendation. All right, we're warming up the hex-clad pan on the stove here. With this meat, you should not need any oil. Throw a cover on it just to get it a little bit hotter. My saffron rice, looking beautiful. Nice and hot now. There we go. Oh my. Yeah, that's great. Kind of pan-seared a little bit, so it's a little crispy on the outside there. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. That looks amazing. Gotta get more to the middle here. Ooh. Look at that. That looks absolutely fantastic. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cut my stove off here. There we go. And there we go. All right, let's go eat.